presenting the new American superpower program for war, which is called FCS, Future Combat System. It's a huge project worth $23 billion, and it is involving a lot of companies. And we were analyzing, as Zone H, we were thinking, America is producing a very well advanced war program based on super networks deployed on the enemy's territories. If we don't have enough money, being the enemy of America, for example, what we would do? This was the question of Zone H. So we started to dig, to try to understand how much information we could take from the open sources. And then we eventually were capable to have in our hand even the names of the person involved in every single aspect of the project, what they were specifically doing, and their personal email address, which for a hacker, it is basically the starting point. And what happened? We reproduced such topic in the DEF CON conference in Las Vegas in July. And then right after, I was in Italy, and I got contacted by a representative of a very powerful nation. I don't want to tell you the name, but the flag has stars and stripes. And they told me, there is a ring of hackers who is violating servers of the companies who are participating in important US military programs. He didn't mention the FCS program, but I understood it immediately. Do you know anything about that? And of course we kept our neutral status and we said, well, no, we don't know anything, and even if we knew it, we weren't gonna telling you. But specifically in this case, I didn't know anything about it. But it was the confirmation that somebody was actually acting in the way we were thinking as soon as we saw the paper the first time of such big American war program.
Okay, so, oops. Hello, okay. So just to complete the presentation, one thing that I learned from these various experiences, which it's almost like being at war. I know that I'm not able to transmit to you totally the feeling of this type of activity, because you must live it, just to know how it is. But it is like being at war, and sometimes it is also very exciting, sometimes it is very stressing. One thing that I found out is that it is totally useless to raise a wall, because, to make, like for example, firewalls, just talking about walls. Sometimes I've seen that the most vulnerable systems in a company are actually the firewalls. So exploiting the vulnerabilities of a firewall just gets into the company, because the company thinks that after the firewall you are okay. I mean, there's the firewall, so no problem after it. Sometimes you just need to know. And that's why when you do fingerprinting and everything, what the defenses on the other side are, just to exploit them. So if you have a big door of 20 feet of metal, you just find a drill which is long enough and you drill it. So the main security measure that we know of, we found it in the ancient Egypt. So, this guy, Tutankhamun or whatever, he got all these people to build the pyramids, and then I didn't find a slide which, with all the blood and everything, but in the end he slaughtered them, he killed them all. So the good thing, if you want to be really secure, is you get your IT infrastructure and then you kill all the IT guys. But as you can't do it, and it's also illegal, so what the hell? There is another way. The other way, which is not so secure, also because then you run out of IT people and you don't have them, The other way is, and the most effective way that I found, is not to raise walls, but it's just to put good ears, just to be able to listen, to monitor, to capture the data. So if you can detect a problem and be alerted for it, good. If you cannot detect it because it's a new thing, at least you have it recorded. So you can find it when you find out that you actually had a problem, and you can do your forensic analysis, and you can go back, you can backtrack and find the solution for that, and maybe also find the culprit. So logging and listening That's the most effective way I found to handle this thing. And then the other thing is just not so you don't have to kill everybody, just to make sure that at least you pound in the head of people not to talk about, the security measures you have in place, not to say what type of firewalls you have, and not, the naming policy, like not call the machines FW, blah, 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 or, DMZ, etc., and all this type of things. So I hope this was a little of help. If you need some more details about these things, of course, not too in-depth details, but whatever, we can just contact us afterwards. And so another thing is once you get a good defense mechanism in place, like you spread terror around IT guys and other people not to reveal what you have in place. And once you can log, if you have the logging capability to at least listen to all the information, there is a way to counterattack. But this type of methodology, which is injected interception, and which is actually being used very often and very successfully in the European countries right now, in investigations and everything. The only thing is that this type of activity requires you to cooperate with the Justice Department and with police forces, because you need to have a lawful interception infrastructure in place, like I was saying last year here at Hack in the Box. And this lawful interception infrastructure is the one that is able to actually actively do this type of things, like, for example, inject a packet and do automatically a lot of things that a hacker would do, but with the whole infrastructure which is underneath the whole activity of the police forces and law enforcement agencies. So, providing that you are, you want to cooperate with the law enforcement agencies in handling a problem you have, because you don't think it is a strategic matter. Remember that every time you cooperate with the police agency on a strategic matter of your company, the press will always know about it. So you can be sure that the thing will go on the newspapers.
Now, before finishing, can you tell me what is this? I don't hear you. Network card. Who told it? Raise your hand. There. Please tell me, why did you say this is a network card? Because you saw it before? Okay, so you recognize it by the shape, right? Eventually you will plug it in your PC and you see if it works. If it's having the traffic flooding your PC or not. And that's it? This is all the way you are recognizing this piece of equipment as a network card? I mean, can you prove me this is a network card?
It's actually a picture of it.
No, okay. If you, let's say you go to a shop and you buy a network card, and then you have in your hand the network card. Can you prove me this is a network card?
Or it's only a network card.
Or it's only a network card? No, you can't, because you trust the shape and you know what this thing does, because you read the specification. What is the point? We are talking about espionage, Trojans, but guys, nobody ever thought about what you have in your hardware. I mean, you can reverse engineer software, but it's really difficult to reverse engineer hardware. For me, this network card could have, hypothetically, computational capability and could even execute some operations if properly instructed from remote. How would I know? It's not possible. It would be impossible not to know it, because you can't reverse engineering. And actually the law, it's helping in such way the bad guys, in the sense that if in any network appliance would ever be present some spying system, the law is telling you that if you do reverse engineering, you're breaching the law, therefore you go in trouble. And you can see, for example, what happened at the end of July at the Black Hat conference in Las Vegas. The guy who was raising the problem with the Cisco flow got immediately raided by the agents and questioned about illegal practice of reverse engineering. Now, did you thought it before or not, that the problem might not be in the software, but might be in the hardware. We are all blindly buying the hardware, but we don't know what is it exactly. This is a provocation, of course. I don't want to say this is happening, but if I was a spy and I had my hand on any production line of such equipment, I would definitely think to do something like that. And if you read the first episode of our comic book, it's actually based on a similar fact. And before finishing, talking about comics, we invite you now, at the end of the presentation, to get the copy of your own CD, which is signed in original by us, by Lead Dog, and by Fyodor. And then it will be auctioned also for T-shirts, like this one, comic T-shirts, signed in original, and 4 copies, color-printed copies, signed in original by the authors, and because it is auctioned for charity, we invite you for a good bid. Thank you very much for the